shout, I will sing, cause any be rain. Hey guys, good morning. Happy Sunday. How is everyone doing? I hope you are doing well. How is your weekend going? I hope it is going well. Thank you very much for stopping by. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are joining me from. Today is Sunday. It's a day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. I hope you are doing well. You're keeping safe. Thank you so much, everyone. All my returning subscribers, I celebrate you. I heart you. I love you. Thank you so much for always kicking it with me on this platform. And if you are joining us for the first time or you're just stumbling on my channel, this is Obodooyinbo TV. And here we talk about issues that affect Africans who live in the diaspora, particularly issues around relationships. Healthy relationships. Thank you guys. I am late, but I wanted to quickly drop this one before I go into the church. So one of our brothers who is a subscriber here sent me this and said they want my opinion about it. Yeah, so I'm just quickly going to run through the message. Somebody posted it and said my fiance and I are getting married in July, right? And he's just been transferred to Lagos, so we are searching for an apartment, but the ones we like is above his budget. So I think these people are in Nigeria. And she said we also earn almost the same amount, although he earns a little bit higher. I have money to assist to get our dream house, but my mom advised me against it. She said he will get used to us splitting bills and I should let him get an apartment he can afford. My mom advised I invest my money in real estate. I have 2 plots of land in Ibadan and my mom wants me to buy more. She knows everything about my finances, so whenever I have a little bit of money with me, she always wants me to buy land. And I kind of feel bad knowing my fiancé put his own money to us. My fiancé put his own money together to set up our home while I invest mine. So he's putting up his money to get them an apartment they can live in while she's investing her own money, right? I'm the only child of a single mom and I don't have anyone to speak to. So please advise me. Am I following the right path? This young lady is asking. So this is a case of people who are not married yet. And I like it when people are not married yet seek counsel, because it helps. And that's why a lot of churches promote premarital counseling, because it kind of helps them to know, you know, what they are going into. Because everybody thinks that marriage is kulumuke manjo falarumi etamilan kinjafa amokulu amokeke. Then you also get into it and you know that marriage is not moi moi, it's not beans. So let me add that when this our brother sent me this message, he always asks for my advice. I don't know whether he's single or married, but he said, Auntie B, what do you think? And this is exactly my response to him. I said, the mom is right. If he cannot rent a big house, let him start small. He's learning responsibility. And I agree with the mom. And he came back to me and said, Auntie B, I kind of disagree with you on this one. No, let us discuss this topic too, ma. I like that. It's okay to disagree as long as it's healthy. Like there's no you disagreeing respectfully. That's all right. I can take feedback. Okay, so let me talk about this very briefly. The reason why I wanted to start from the standpoint of, is he asking or is the young lady volunteering? Because there's a difference. And put in mind that they are not married yet. These are single people who are engaged to be married. They are not married yet. They are planning to marry. The reason why I'm asking whether he's asking her or she's the one volunteering is because we, as women, we have a tendency to, I think it's our God-given nature. The average woman out there always wants to make things better. We want to fix everybody's life. We want to fix our husband. We want to fix our brothers. We want to fix our everybody around us. We want to make everything better for them. And this comes to us very naturally. But I did a show the other day and I was talking about how it is very, very important as women for us to start sometimes, as much as we want to do it. And I'm in this WhatsApp group. I know how I am too. I always want to do. But I'm learning as I grow older to pull back. Yeah? And not do. Right? I'm learning to pull back. It's very, very important that you learn as a woman to pull back and allow a man to be a man. Especially a man that you're in a relationship with or a man that you are married to. And the reason why I said I agree with this mom is because so this couple, they are not married. They are young people. Maybe they are in their 20s or in their 30s and they are planning to marry. They are both working. She didn't say that he cannot afford to rent a place. She's saying the kind of area they want to live in is above his budget. Right? And so that's the difference. It's not like he cannot afford to rent a place. So my thing is, first of all, if you want to marry, the basic thing you should have as a man is an accommodation. I don't care whether it's room or parlor, face me, I slap you, whatever. Just have a place where you can have the basic amenities like bed, a kitchen where, food can be made, toilet, bathroom, even if it's one room. Because, it's very, very beautiful when you start small and you see how you grow. And I have a family member that started this way. Yeah, a family member of mine started this way. When she was getting married, the husband didn't even have accommodation. Like, he was living with his mother when they got engaged. But before they did the marriage and he came back and everything, he got a B&Q that they were living. That's the boss quarter that they were living. And it was just one room, a little sitting room, toilet and bathroom. It was small. But you know what? There's beauty. There's so much beauty in starting together and building together. It's so beautiful. Today, the story has changed. That same couple that I'm telling you now, that they started with him living with his mom, and by the time they got married, he had a boys' quarter where he married my family member. They've got properties everywhere. That is what marriage can do when you marry the right person and God blesses your marriage. So I'm saying to this young lady, no, you don't need to put money together to rent a place, because it's, for me personally, I feel like it's about setting the trajectory of how your marriage is going to roll. Okay? So you say, oh, although it ends small, oh, this place we want to get an apartment is not a good area for us. Let's go to a posh area where, maybe the rent is 1 million. I don't know how much the rent houses in Lagos, maybe 1.2 million or 1.5. I don't know. If you put money together now while you are not married, you say, oh, let me help to pay the rent. You are setting the tone for your marriage already. Right? So that means when the rent is due, if you cannot afford it now, when the rent is due, 12 months goes very far. And in Nigeria, they pay they don't pay monthly, as far as I know. Maybe I don't know if I'm wrong now, but as far as I know, in Nigeria, they don't pay rent monthly, it's annually. So that means you have to come up with the bulk of the money at once. If you cannot pay it now, how is it going to renew it? Do you know how long you are going to live in that apartment before you move to a different place? So that's why I feel personally that if you cannot afford the place that you prefer, let him rent where he can afford. You manage with him like that. Because your job as a fiancé is not to be renting house for a man that you want to marry. And that's why women come later and they say, oh, I struggled with him. I did this. If not because of me, he didn't have a car when we met. I was the one. In some cases, I've heard stories of where women who come from affluent family inherited properties, or women who, married late. Yeah. And they had their own personal properties. Like this young lady has pieces of land now. When they want to get married, because of the misconception around, oh, my husband is the head of the family, they will transfer the ownership of what they acquired as a single girl to the man. And then when maybe somehow down the line the relationship didn't work out, she will be broken and saying, oh, he used me, I gave him everything, I transferred my property to him, I transferred my land, I sold my land, but he didn't ask you. And that's what I'm saying. It's very important for us as women, from time to time, pull back, especially when you are not married. Don't invest in a relationship when you are not married yet. When you are married, when you are in a marriage now, the rules are completely different. If this was a person that is married and they are asking, should I help with the rent? Of course, my answer will be completely different. Yes, what is your role as a wife? You are supposed to be the helpmate. I'm talking about Christian marriage because I'm a Christian, right? You are supposed to help your husband. So if he's struggling with rent, then step in, make it up, and pay your rent. But it doesn't mean that you should, because the tendency is that if you always step up to want to do things eagerly like that, some brothers can step back because they know now that, shebi my wife will do it. And because naturally we women always want to sort things out, we want everything to be sorted, we want everything to be fixed. Before you know it, the rent will fall on you. It's you that will be paying the rent. Then the burden of the responsibility of the family is shifting gradually towards you. You are getting married now, you are paying rent. When you have children, school fees, feeding money, all the other things that comes with being married, even if he doesn't feel the need that, okay, now, because you have money and you've demonstrated to him that, oh, I don't need you to lead me in this area of finances. Because it's all about leadership. The man is supposed to be the head of the family and he's supposed to lead. And, it makes me laugh sometimes when some African men misconstrue this leadership thing, being head of the family. Being head means that, uncle, you go carry that load. Yeah? If you want that submission, you want that respect, you want everything, then you've got to lead. And one of the ways that you lead is financially, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, or availability with your time. You got to lead. Women need to feel secure. It is very, very important to us as women to feel secure in relationships and marriages. And one of the ways that you can, reassure a woman of your leadership role as her husband is for you to provide. But I'm seeing a lot of young ladies these days who are not even allowing men to demonstrate their leadership by providing, because they have their own and because they are itching to get married now. They'll say, okay, don't worry, take my car. Don't worry, I'll pay the rent. I'll finance the wedding. I'll pay my own. Hello? Remember the story of Tonto Dike? I do remember. When the cookie crumbled, what happened? We started hearing stories. Meanwhile, she was the one that was spending money when the going was good, fixing him up and helping him, paying her bride price, doing all that. And that is why, one of the reasons why Tonto Dike today feels so cheated, in what happened between her relationship with Churchill, is because she was financially responsible, according to her, for the relationship. She even financed the wedding. She paid her own bride price. So women, please, learn to pull back. I'm sure if Churchill wanted to marry, if you can go back time and Churchill really wanted to marry, what's her name? If he wants to marry Tonto, he will be able to marry her, maybe not in a scale that she wants or that she wanted because she's a celebrity to be a big wedding. But I'm sure he can afford to pay bride price. He can afford to do parlor reception. He can afford to do a small event. Then again, some of us women, we are the problem. We want a big wedding. Ashoebi, calling the biggest musician, decoration, millions of naira, music, this, that. And some brothers who are starting off cannot afford it. So, me personally, I feel like don't start what you cannot finish as a young woman. If you start paying rent now and start helping him before you get married, you're going to end up paying that rent. When you are married, it's a different thing. You step into your role as a wife and a helpmate. Before you marry, there are some basic things I personally believe that a man should be able to provide before he marries. Number one is accommodation. It doesn't matter how big or small he is or wherever part of the town is. If you love him, you will manage like that. Then when you now come together, maybe after a year or two, you now say, okay, We've got enough money now, we can move. We start having children now, we can move to a better area where there are better schools and things like that. Number 2 is at least be able to provide enough to feed yourself. If you cannot feed yourself, you shouldn't be thinking about marriage. And that's why we are talking about struggle love all the time here now. Because women bring value. We add value. But if you've got nothing, what are we adding the value to? What is she going to add the value to? This young lady is obviously very well, she's well brought up. And, her mom is a good mother. And that's why I don't like people knocking single parents, because they do a very good job. They are trying. Look at this young lady now. The mom is already advising her to buy pieces of land. That's to tell you that she's going places. The mom is not advising her, spend your money on weave. Spend your money on designer's bag. Spend your money on, frivolities, on clothes, or traveling. She's already investing. So this kind of a wife, you will know that she will be this kind of Proverbs 31 kind of wife that says, a good wife who can find. Because she's got that investment mind already to invest. When she comes together with her husband now, she'll be saying, okay, this money, this is what we should use it to do. Let's not waste it. Before you know, both of you will rise. But for this one, no, me, personally, I don't believe you should start off by paying rent. Let him pay rent for what he can afford. He's the one coming to marry you. Okay? Let him come and marry you. When you enter house, you are a wife now. You now start building together. And even when you are building together, sometimes don't try, resist the urge to take the lead financially. Women always want to, like I said, these days, women are very, very ambitious. And sometimes, that's another topic for discussion. If you are married to a man who is laid back and not ambitious, they are just okay where they are. And you are this person that's, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. It takes a lot of balancing. It takes a lot of, calming down to know when, you should do and when you should just step back and encourage him to do. Because at the end of the day, some of the same brothers will still feel emasculated because you are coming up with what they will consider as, masculine energy. You are doing like a man. You are trying to take over. You are trying to be the head of the family. Oh, some who even have low self-esteem will take it as far as saying, oh, because you earn more than me now, you want to be my husband. You want me to be your wife. And things like that. That's why I think women should be careful what you are investing in. Be very, very careful. If you've got any investment before you get married, there's no need for you to transfer anything. You don't need to change the name. A man that really loves you will not ask you to go and change the name of the ownership of your land and your property before you get married to his name. Why? Why would he ask you to do that? That's to tell you that that person has ulterior motives. There's no need for that. Is he going to include you in all the things he acquired before you got married? Marriage is a clean state. It's a clean plate. You are starting. So going forward, whatever you are able to get together, then you carry it forward. It's not that you say, the land I have in Ibadan, change the name. If you really love me, some will even emotionally blackmail you, pay. If you love me, why is it that it's your name alone that is in that land? Why didn't you put my name on it? It's okay. I mean, this is basically advisory. People do what they want to do. Some women will still finance everything. They will still carry it on their head. But we all know how it ends. Struggle love, in most cases. Women that raise them, they always end up leaving them. They end up leaving them because they feel like, there's something about the ego. So they'll go and look for one small one that will be worshiping them. Because you now, like I said, you are dominating. You are the man. You've taken over. So we have to be very, very careful. As much as it is very good for you to build together, learn to stay in your role. You are there to support, not to lead. Don't take over. Try not to take over. Because in some cases, generally, this is just talking loosely. But sometimes, in most cases we've seen, when you take over, it can backfire. And you end up being broken. and then you'll be crying up and down saying, oh, he did this to me, he did this to me, I did this. After everything I did, he's ungrateful, he didn't. It never ends well. So anyway, that is what I have to say about this situation. I think the young lady should allow the man to rent the apartment where he can afford. They should live, and from there grow together as a couple to avoid stories that touch. What do you think about this? Do you think that before marriage that she should contribute to the rent so they can pay in a more affluent place? Or do you agree with me that he should rent what he can afford and then they start building together? I mean, whichever sides of the discussion you stand, there's no wrong or right answer. It's just about your values, what's important to you, and what you think about, the situation. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button if you've not done so already. Like and share this video, and I'll speak to you in my next video. Thanks a lot for watching. I gotta run now. I am so late. Thank you guys. I love you. God bless you. Have a lovely week. Mwah. Bye guys.